the little gift from the Ladybird messenger. I do believe that God talks to us through all of creation, not just through angels that are sent from heaven, not just through the people that we meet, not just through scriptures or holy books or wisdom writings, but much more. Creation somehow can be utilised and served to reach us in the most profound and synchronistic ways. And recently I've been thinking about a situation that happened to me, and I wanted to share this because I have many things like this. It's not like I'm just looking for these things. I am just a normal person as well, as a mummer. Well, I've been overwhelmed and stressed with a lot of things going on in the periphery of my life, with family members and sickness and changes to my son's schooling and a whole new regime. And for the last weeks, I noticed a tiny little ladybird, a ladybug, walking around the perimeter of my lampshade, on the ceiling, on the walls, on the curtain. And this ladybird seemed to be a constant companion in my house. It was the same ladybird. She always appeared when I was feeling very stressed, sometimes even in the kitchen, rushing, doing dishes and cooking and thinking of all the other things I haven't completed that day. And sometimes she'd be on my kitchen wall, very up high. I've got high ceilings. And I looked at her and I thinking, oh my goodness, you must be kind of trapped here. I'm going to try and get you down. And then when I turn around after I've got a stool to try and climb up, she'd be gone. But I just watched her. I realised that she didn't know how to get out of the house, and she needed me to rescue her. But as I said, she was always in a place that was hard to reach. I would gently talk to her, tell her nice things, reassure her, and she would pause in her little walk as if she understood. And one morning, I reached for my tea, and I was coming out of the kitchen, and I accidentally spilt it on the floor. So I went back into the kitchen, put my tea down, and got a cloth to clean it. And I noticed, to my disbelief, that the ladybird friend was right there on the floor next to the spill. It's amazing that I didn't tread on her and crush her, but it was as if she'd purposely placed herself there so I could reach her. I carefully picked her up and took her outside, amazed and relieved actually, because she'd been in my house for what seemed for several weeks. And I actually thanked her for a timely presence. And I took her in the garden and I found a little shoot that was coming up. Now that it's turning spring and there's little leaves, fresh shoots coming up. And then days later, a package arrived from Scotland. Some presents and gifts from family that I hadn't been able to get up to Scotland for Christmas in the end due to illness of my son. And I opened the presents, and I was already a little bit tearful that day and overwhelmed with something else. I'm a little bit of a crier. But I opened the packages, and inside was a beautiful neck scarf with the ladybird design on the scarf and the fabric. It was so beautiful, my heart jumped. I couldn't help but smile and cry and laugh at the same time at the sense of synchronicity and God's love. It was as if the ladybird had actually brought me this gift as a token of gratitude for rescuing her. I've always loved ladybirds, to be honest with you. I used to read the Ladybird books when I was a child. I don't know if any of you remember them. Ladybird books by Penguin House for children. They were really great. I loved them. But I couldn't help feel a sense of peace and connection. It was a reminder that the Creator, His creation, His universe, sends us little signs and help us when we need them most. And my sweet little ladybird was just that, a small but powerful reminder of the divine microcosm and macrocosm of the creation and of our life, and the interconnectedness of the world and the divine creation around us. Now, of course, those gifts were brought, especially one of them. They were all absolutely perfect gifts, but this ladybird scarf was obviously brought by somebody else. But what are the odds? How could they know? They couldn't. So I'm so grateful, and I just wanted to share you this story so that you remember to take a note of all the little things in your life and give gratitude for all the little things, and maybe pay more attention to what the Creator, the creation, and the love of God is actually saying to you. Now for me, also the Ladybird was a message that I needed to get out more, that I'm trapped, that I'm not being myself, I'm not living the way I normally live, and I need to make some changes, and maybe I need to ask for help. Also the Ladybird, she was always up high, in places that were hard to reach, but she was always up near the light, or reaching up high. It's like higher perspective, looking up. And yet, when I found her, she made herself in a position and a place where I could find her, lowering herself. It's a bit like humility, isn't it? Swallowing your pride and not being afraid to make yourself in a place where you can be helped or ask for help, no matter what it is. I hope this little story gives you a little bit of peace and courage, and I thank you for listening. Take care now, bye.